What's up, everyone? It is Academy playoff season. Woo! And no, it's not Pokemon
Let's
Unite,
go.
which means, Ampharos, you have to go. Sorry. A different MOBA. We got League of Legends action, ladies and gentlemen, of course, here on the Academy channel. My name is Mark Alexander IMTA. I'm your host for the first quarterfinals today, and I'm joined here by two of the most handsome men I have ever put my eyes upon. God damn. Kangas and Josh. It is such a pleasure to be joined by you two. Thank you so much. And how are y'all feeling today?
Well, I appreciate the compliment, Rafa, but I didn't get the memo that apparently we're wearing like button-up, different pattern shirts. I have like a flamingo one. I have like
you
a
wanna
little,
go get it right now?
kitty one.
Yeah,
Well,
you have
maybe,
something that's
maybe
yellow?
like I just moved. This is a whole new background, so everything's still in
yeah.
boxes right now. It looks like kind of clear behind me, but literally, there's just boxes all over the place here that I'm just gonna try and ignore throughout the day. But y'all look great.
Thank you, man.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's your turn, Josh. It's story time is now. You have the talking stick.
Oh boy, I didn't realize that we were just physically passing it around. I didn't think we could do it that quickly. But
Okay,
I just wanted to
let's get
say-
this down. So you're over
Okay,
here.
okay.
Okay, all right.
so-
I got it from Rafa, and now there you go. All right, your turn.
We
Thank you,
did
Kingus.
it!
All right. Well, it's just so excited to be here with both of you guys. I like the distinction. I feel like you guys have something that I don't, right? Because there's glasses, and I'm just here without anything. So maybe I should go get
You got
something.
the hair
Wait, I think I
inverted
actually-
too. This is great. Yeah, like
There
it's
we
like
go,
a
perfect.
wave sign.
Ready to
of
go.
hair.
Yo, cue the
Ooh.
lights. Cue the lights. Yeah. All according to Keikaku, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of Keikaku, or the plan for today is to actually show you our schedule this week. It's going to be quarterfinals, as we said before. 100 Thieves Academy taking on Immortals Academy for today's quarterfinal matchup. And then tomorrow will be Cloud9 Academy taking on Evil Geniuses Academy. And the winner of these two matches will be feeding into our wonderful Academy playoff season bracket, where Team Liquid and FlyQuest Academy will be awaiting the victors of those opponents in our quarterfinal matchups today. And the semifinals will begin next week. And for those wondering about the other four Academy teams, they will be playing for their lives to join us in the proving grounds over in the Unified Grand Prix. Now, Kangas, I want to go to you first in breaking down this matchup here, or even taking a recap of the Academy regular season. We've seen 100 Thieves, and I know that a lot of the story for people coming from the semi-pro scene is all about Kenby and Tenacity, because these guys have been a dynamic jungle and duo, but you can kind of argue that Immortals Academy has a little bit of strength in the jungle top lane duo themselves here as well.
They do. I mean, if we want to talk about the jungle top matchup, we can. But first, I just want to talk about a kind of overall table setting for where these teams are coming into playoffs. Kind of the tail end of the summer split, throughout the summer split as well. 100 Thieves looked like the best team out the gate in Academy. I was confident that, halfway through the summer split, I was like, oh, they're just the best team. I think that they could beat most of the LCS teams. They might even be like top 5 in LCS based on how they were playing, how they were drafting. I was really hot on them. And then they started to slump a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half of the summer hasn't looked nearly as good for the Thieves, and I don't know how much I want to chalk it up to the fact that like their draft just doesn't look as flexible anymore. I don't know if that means that they don't have a proper read on the meta. I mean, obviously the patches have changed. They're no longer drafting as many enchanters with the Kindreds, with the Xinjiaos in the jungle, things like that. And then the last 3 games, they played like the same jungle mid 80 carry combo. I feel like teams are just kind of figuring them out, and they're becoming a little more one-dimensional. Whereas at the beginning of summer, they were playing all this crazy stuff. They had all these different drafts that they were pulling out. And Immortals are kind of the opposite trajectory, where they started off rough. They had 2 of their players playing remote, top jungle, and now they have everybody together playing in the same room as a team. So they've really hit their stride in the second half of summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a pretty big differential going on here between the argument of, like, having a bunch of different strategies, because the coach for Immortals, Jensen Go, in the conversations that you had, King, were saying that when IMTA came in, they really diversified the way that they were able to play, and they're also transitioning some of their, discussion in the game over from Pretty, who's doing a lot of the shot calling, now over to Joey, and so we get this big thing where you have a lot of flexibility in the Immortals draft, whereas 100 Thieves are a little bit more rigid. And to a certain point, it doesn't matter, right? If you are really, really good at one strategy, it doesn't matter how many other strategies your opponents go out. You're just going to smash them every time.
It's one of the things that we've come to know 100 Thieves Academy for through, and as both of you said, 100 Thieves started off strong, and then there's this weird kind of slump that they're going through, and which potentially cost them their top 2 spot, as they were rocking that top 2 seeds with FlyQuest Academy for a majority of the season. And considering that FlyQuest Academy was able to maintain it even while swapping out their academy team to go play in LCS during that time, whereas 100 Thieves did get a chance to play against Evil Geniuses, the LCS team. It didn't pan out too well, they tried.
They
tried.
They gave it the old college try.
It was a valiant attempt from 100 Thieves Academy, and I still enjoy the fact that they got some stage time and being able to play against one of the best LCS teams that we have going into the regular season. But, going into this bottom lane matchup, this is another kind of from this perspective of Luger. He has been a marksman, Josh, that has just been really, really impressing us ever since he made it here to the United States.
When he first came over here to the United States, I remember, I want to say the word was crawl, right? The king of the bottom lane that he kept using over and over, and he was just able to win not only most of the lanes, but also be this huge rock for 100 Thieves later on in the game that would really stabilize a lot of some of the coin flips that they would take on the top half of the map. Since then, as the 100 Thieves top side has become a bit more stable, Luger's been able to be a little bit more aggressive throughout all of these things, and this might be one of the larger mismatches between these two teams that I'm looking at. Well, even though Luger might not be in his peak performance as we saw a couple of weeks ago, he's still looking very good up against Keith and Joey, who aren't necessarily a strong part of Immortals, and it looks like Luger and Poom might have opportunities to just run through his bottom lane and go for an arms race against Viper and Anda.
Might I remind us that even though they lost Evil Geniuses in LCS, the final day of LCS they got subbed in, bot lane was smashing. Like, Luger and Poom were absolutely smashing that bot lane, so I'm happy you highlight that. But of course, we also got to talk about the top half of the map. Viper versus Tenacity, a classic matchup too. So, I mean, you can look at any lane. You can look at any of these matchups and hype it up. And I think that just shows the pedigree of the players that we're about to watch.
All of these players, both on the Immortals Academy and 100 Thieves, have come from a long way. Different paths have led them through different journeys, but they have all arrived here in our first quarterfinals matchup, where we're going to have Mazel and Smacks take it away for casting the first game of the day.
Good luck, Small.
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here. I'm ready to kick off the Academy playoffs here in the summer split. And we're already into it, Smacks. I wanted to give you a whole little moment to talk, but we got to talk draft because these teams are ready and raring to go. We have 100 Thieves Academy on that blue side, Immortals Academy on that red side. Thresh, Varus banned white by 100 Thieves Academy, and we do have a little bit of interesting choices, at least mainly meta bans from IMTA Academy as the Ziggs and Diana come off.
I'm a little bit concerned that Joshi just called us small on the way into the draft.
That's our caster name, apparently.
We're going to have to address that with him later. I think we're going to have to give him a stern talking to. Yeah, we're here for the draft of game number 1, and a lot of these really powerful champions already taken off the board. I like that the Ziggs priority is still here. A little bit surprising that Immortals is the one that's banning this, is they're, oh, excuse me, we're flopped a little bit. So
I was seeing
100's on the red side.
Yeah, okay,
100's
so
on
it is
red.
changed a little bit. We just have the graphics, I believe, a little bit wrong. So the Immortals Academy squad is on that blue side, so that's where those bans make a little bit more sense to me.
Yeah.
And you're seeing on the red side, obviously, those crucial bans, the Luge joining him, the Viego also banned away by Immortals Academy. They first pick the Zins out. This has been a crucial pick in teams developing that early skirmish meta of the jungle.
And it's really crucial for Anda, too, because Anda is one of our most aggressive junglers that we have in the Academy scene, and him paired up with his solo laners of Viper and Pretty is really trying to get things started very early on so that snowball can continue and hopefully for Immortals win them those games, but they're going to have to deal with Kenvi's Olaf now, another early menace.
So I am interested, though, because we do get the Aphelios lock-in for 100 Thieves Academy, and Aphelios in itself is really good in the late-game team fighting, things along those lines. But when I'm looking at Luger's champion pool, right, it's not something that he's necessarily played in the summer playoffs, or in the summer split, rather. And I think it's really interesting that first game of the playoffs here, this best of 5 that is, one and done, you bring out this champion that can have such team fight potential, exactly what we set up for Luger the whole time and on the desk.
It is definitely a champion that has needed more exploration on the recent patches, and it seems like 100 Thieves have figured out the exploration and have decided that he is one of the top marksmen on the patch. The main piece of exploration that people are going for is the new lethality build, where you go for your mythic item and then right into things like the Collector and the Serpent's Fang, just to make sure you're dealing as much damage as possible with your abilities mainly. And I've had a lot of fun playing this build too. The Infernum ultimate tends to deal tremendous amounts of damage when you're casting it on groups of people. Just the other day, I casted my Infernum ultimate on a group of 4 people, instant double kill.
Oh my god.
This build's pretty good. The lethality build, you become more of a caster, a marksman, something like a Varus, but it's very potent in those skirmishes.
Well, I'm really excited to see Luger whipping it out. We are already into the second phase of bans, so I want to catch us up on the picks we've seen. Immortals Academy taking a little bit of 100 Thieves Academy's special spice as they lock in the Syndra for themselves and start off with an aggressive ADC pick for the bot lane in the Callista. The response for 100 Thieves Academy was to get a little bit of lockdown down there, and they got the Leona for themselves.
With this Callista, Immortals are really trying to be aggressive in this lane, I would say. But with Keith, you know, usually we're seeing him play that sort of island playstyle where Joey is roaming around and playing with the top side of the map. And while Callista does really like to have her support her soulbound mark with her so that she gets those extra bonuses and of course press the Archie, it doesn't just do nothing. It is still a very serviceable marksman to just stay in lane and try to survive. You do have a lot of mobility and range to work with your Q. So I'm excited to see what direction Joey actually takes this. Is for 100 Thieves, they are denying away a lot of the supports that make Callista deadly in lane duos with Eric and Alistar in the bandwidth.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to point out. We're just so in sync right now, Smacks. It's so nice to see that focus going into the second phase, though, and making sure that this Aphelios Leona lane can have a little bit of leeway there. Because when you do have all those CC lockdowns, especially the Taric with the Callista, it's just such a dirty combo. On the other side, we get some solo lane focus as well. The Karma banned away and the Aurelia. So no Aurelia today for the pop-off top laners or mid laners, I guess. And then now getting into the second phase of things, the safety pick for 100 Thieves is going to be the Orianna.
I like that they're keeping their top laner to last pick too, because while I did just talk a lot about how Callista can be really good for Keith in the bottom lane, it is a flex to top. Viper has played many games of Callista and other marksmen in that lane, so for 100 Thieves, they're trying to play that safe. They're trying to make sure that they don't get bamboozled, and they haven't been. You can see that now that lock-in is going to be Jace up there, and it is going to be Callista bottom lane, and for Joey, we're still figuring out what support he's going to lock in. I like this Gragas if they do go for it. It's a nice counter pick into the Leona.
It is, and you get just a ton of CC added, right? You're lacking a little bit of that hard CC, but that Gragas enables you a lot with the rest of your team composition. Also, the fact that we get Viper Jace in this first game is going to be a fun one because that top lane matchup is going to be interesting now that 100 Thieves Academy has drafted the Ornn for Tenacity.
Ornn, a very difficult champion to dive, and seems like 100 Thieves know that Immortals really like diving top lane with this pick. And you know, this is something
if you have Viper
and yeah, exactly. They've been doing this all year. They did it on Nord to win the entire Proving Ground circuit. They just played blue side. They dove you top lane because it's easier to dive on the red side. They just picked for that every single game, and it worked out very well. They won the whole thing, for goodness sake. The Tenacity playing safe. I like this. He's going to provide his team a lot of utility, and because Immortals didn't go for Braum, that Ornn Horn ultimate is very likely to hit its mark.
It is. And I want to set some things out here, right? We're looking at both these compositions. I do feel like there's a little bit of a different approach for both of them. I'm seeing the absolute godsend of a team fight composition from 100 Thieves Academy. You get to those objective fights, you get to that late game, Luger is going to be popping off with the support of the rest of the team as well. The other side, you're looking at that early skirmishing. You're looking at Anda ahead on the Xin Zhao and get that onto the lanes themselves, right? You have a lot of that early priority, I feel like, and it's very interesting to see this first game panning out like this, Smacks.
Two very different styles. Immortals wanting to go for the burst in the early game, and the 2v2, the 3v3, that style. But for 100 Thieves, they have put together a very standard composition that is built for those team fights. Really only odd man out is Kenvi on this Olaf, and he is that bridging champion. You know, you do need to have a little bit of early power in that stage of the game so you don't just get completely run over and have to rely on late. So I really enjoy the way that 100 Thieves have drafted this game. They have a lot of team fight power. They hopefully for them don't fall too far behind with picks like Olaf and Leona, and they can go for 5v5s, where we've seen some of the most explosive moments from 100 Thieves Academy so far.
Yeah, and we were talking with Kangas, or at least listening to Kangas a little bit beforehand this, and he was saying how focused 100 Thieves Academy were on like some specific band or some specific picks, right? This is a little bit different here. There's no Volibear. The Varus was banned away, and Syndra was picked up by Immortals. So they go with this full team fight composition, bringing back the Ornn for tenacity. I think their setup is really nice. A lot of that is going to be on the shoulders of Kenvi, though, on the Olaf. You still need to be proactive on the Olaf, not let that early skirmishing really go into Immortals Academy's side, because if you do let this snowball out of control, or even let that early advantage go to Immortals Academy, they will run away with it. We've seen them do it time and time again.
And this is just such an important part of the competitive landscape of Proving Grounds and of Academy, because really the rest of Proving Grounds the entire year is going to be played on this patch.
Yeah.
11.50. So for both of these teams, they're going to need to start honing that craft, whatever playstyle they think is best and whatever playstyle they think suits their team the best. They have to start now. They have to start making sure that they have every single possible outlook and every champion that goes into this, every idea that they can try in the game to make this the best it possibly can be. And you can see that 100 Thieves and Immortals, they're already starting by showing us different strategies. I think, especially for Immortals, this is not very surprising. We already touched on how powerful the top side of the map is. It's just going to have to be curious to see if 100 Thieves have already put a stop to what Immortals have, and if Immortals have to immediately start adapting in this best of 5.
That's what I was just going to bring up, is that this is the best of 5, but it's also the one and done, right? Like, the playoffs are pretty quick around these parts here, and you've got to make sure that you're taking progressive steps as you go through this. I love to see how best of 5 metas, even best of 3 metas at this point, evolve over the games, but there is a moment where you need to turn things on, and you have to maybe stop experimenting a little bit and really find those things that solidify your team composition. And as we hit the rift for the first time of the evening, Snacks, I'm so excited to be here for the kickoff of the Academy playoffs. It's Immortals Academy going up against 100 Thieves Academy to start off this best of 5.
Ooh, yeah, we're getting right on into it. You already see that these bottom lanes are going to be intense. I love that Keith is rocking with the Halo Blades, and I love even more that Luger is taking the lethal tempo on Aphelios, trying to attack as much as possible. And this is an adaptation that I've really been enjoying recently, where both marksmen are starting off with longsword, because it means that you get an earlier spike on your mythic item. They build out of 2 longswords, and even if you go for lethality, like the Aphelios build has been tending to do, that still works with longsword too. So you're getting a lot of extra power and an earlier item efficiency for these 2 marksman players.
And you can very much appreciate that, especially with the big focus we put on the rest of the map early on. You don't get a little bit of aggression early on, at least in the build paths right now for both ADCs, so you can appreciate that as well. But something here, we're obviously going to take a deep dive into the jungle matchups. We're seeing both sides start on the top side of the map, so maybe a little bit more focused down towards the bot side. But we'll see how the wraparounds work in that fashion. But something we really haven't talked about too much besides the picks that came through is this pretty Ryoma matchup. I do think it's going to be pretty integral. We were talking to the desk beforehand. I'm not even going to talk about it because we're getting the 1v or 2v2. Keith almost gets all of his health bar taken down. He's going to be chugging some potions. But we were talking about that mid lane matchup where it can be influential, but it all depends on how this top duo goes. The jungle and the top. Does the mid lane influence that at all? And we'll have to see.
Most likely will with the junglers. Nice scatter the week too means that Pretty's off to a nice start. Hasn't needed to use all of his potions quite yet, and really just in every single lane right now it is a battle of attrition. You know, who can force your opponents to use the potions early and just go for that recall. You get so much extra tempo, and just aggression possibilities open up for you. And still on that top side will clear a little bit slower than Olaf. It's one of the benefits of counterpicking the Xin Zhao with Olaf. You get to get on the map a little bit quicker, and we're seeing that from Kenvi, even though he was spotted on his red.
Yeah, a little bit of vision game going down already, and going to the jungle, gonna bypass his camps. He's looking for that early aggression. He knows Kenvi is gonna be looking for a quick clear. He's gonna be low on health, and here he comes. If he's gonna be able to show up, I love this vision toggle right now. Kenvi has absolutely no idea, and we're gonna get the spike down. Kenvi has taken it. You gotta watch out for the Olaf as he gets lower, but is it gonna be enough? And a one more tech, and that's first blood for Immortals Academy.
Oh, that was so close. And it didn't have red buff. That's one of the things I was the most concerned about in that exchange, because Kenvi did stop and take his red buff. He did take his entire top side. And on top of that, he did get the smite on the blue buff, but the health lead was not enough. And for Olaf, that's such a huge detriment. Losing a skirmish like that in the early game and losing out on your Gromp, there's just not a lot you can do after this. And now, with those double buffs on him, the only camp left for Kenvi to do is this Scuttle Crab. And gonna have to be a little tricky for him to do that too. You can see he's not even going for it right away because of the priority set in place by Viper and Pretty.
And I have to say, just props to Anda and the rest of the team, right? Like, that is a big brain play right there. You know exactly what Olaf is trying to do. He's trying to get a quick clear. He's trying to clear as many camps as you can. You know he's pathing down towards the bot side of the map. You know that he's going to be going for the double clears because that's what Olaf succeeds in when he gets low health. You can punish that beautifully, and it's done so. So now what I'm looking at is the bounce back from Kenvi and to see if Anda can continue to mount this pressure up on the Xin Zhao.
Jungle lead already here for Immortals. See if it bleeds over into any of these lanes or if Anda plays a little bit selfishly. We know that he can become a carry on his team too, and Xin Zhao, one of the most powerful champions in the entire game on this meta, is definitely one to do that with. Got the Conqueror, see what his build path is going to be.
Is indeed both junglers going towards their top sides of the map. We do have a dragon spawning about 15 seconds. We'll be an Infernal Dragon to start us off, so no Infernal Soul for the first game, at least, unfortunately. Holding out my hope for the rest of the series. But we'll see what kind of priority we put on these objectives, because that's something else we haven't really talked about. We talked a lot about getting the early advantages, right? Getting the snowball potential for Immortals Academy, the team fight potential late game for Thieves Academy. But how do you set that up? It's by securing objectives. It's by getting these map goals for yourself. And speaking of, Tenacity is going to get a little loving from Anda.
And already showing some pressure in other lanes, notably this top side. This is what we expect. So you wanna get that early gank down onto Tenacity and make sure that Viper has enough pressure.
Ryoba's going so aggressive. Oh, he almost got scattered the weak back into the tower. Not going to do so. Pretty getting out by the skin of his teeth.
A lot of health left, though. No potions means he has to recall. Likely will miss all of this minion wave, and it is a cannon wave, too. See? Yep, the recall does come through, so Anda's going to have to collect this one up. No farm for the Syndra. Ryoma already at level 6. Will have that benefit when it comes to the Drake, which I believe Kenvi is starting up over there in the river.
It does look like Viper going up against Tenacity. He's got a decent amount of damage in the tank, though. Has hit level 6 first on the Jace, but here comes Tenacity with his own level 6, and it's been a lot of contested fights, but nothing just yet besides that invade from Anda.
Tenacity and Ryoma both pressuring their lane opponents with expert trades, not even needing ultimates quite yet. And I mean, a lot for 100 Thieves, just getting those advantages in one-on-one situations, as they already did lose out pretty big in the 1v1 where Anda got the jungle kill. We'll see if they can go for any solo kills. I'm feeling like this is going to be a series of solo kills, honestly. Just based on what we know about these two teams, I'm feeling it coming.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it too. I'm waiting for a little bit of those shenanigans to come out, but I will say Viper has gotten a decent lead on top side. Tenacity will be able to recoup a lot of that, but now we're looking at the bot side of the map because Anda was forcing Kenvi off of the Scuttle Crab. Now he's going for the fight. Kenvi gonna get out with a beautiful blast cone, but priority was set by Immortals Academy, meaning they can get the Scuttle Crab.
Is just not going for a lot of aggression right now. He's already been solo killed by Anda. He already had those ruby crystals built up, trying to go for a slightly tankier build than normal. Well, there are a lot of bruiser items that can build out of those, so I don't want to pigeonhole him quite yet and go for things like the Sterix and the Gore Drinker. But nobody can't go for any of these camps if Anda's here.
Poom's here, baby. Poom's here to back him up. He's like, all right, Kenvi, you've been aggressed. I'm coming. I got your back. He's going to be there just in case. Going to be roaming away now, and Anda sticking around, so maybe things don't pan out for Kenvi, but at least there was a little bit of support there. And Kenvi might be getting aggressed off of his red buff now. It's going to go ahead and reset.
Oh, come back! I need you.
Oh, he's back!
Red buff.
Oh, Anda went over the red buff. Pretty is here as well is Viper. This is going to turn into a 3v3. Can Tenacity get here to make it an outman fight? Zenith connects, but Poom doesn't go over the wall with him. I think that's good.
Yeah, that is definitely a good thing for Poom. It would have been dicey if he had to flash over, but luckily he does not need to. I like that he was just going back and forth. Kenfi's like, come back, please.
He walked all the way down to like their blue buff and had to come back.
He's playing Mama Leona. Gotta come pick up her kids from school. They're being bullied by the Xin Zhao.
Speaking of bullying, 100 Thieves are the ones bullying Immortals right now. They push them out of the Rift Herald and secure their second neutral objective at the game.
If Kenfi kept attacking that, then Joey might have been able to steal it, but no. That has locked that one down, 400 Thieves. And again, despite the early kills for Anda, this is going very well for Kenvi, and I just really like the way that Poom is able to move around the map on Leona. This is just such a threatening champion early game. All of her abilities have all this crowd control packed in them. The damage is abundant too. And for Luger and Keith, they're just kind of stuck down there, waiting for their supports to come back home. Luger feeling okay with the extra range that comes from things like Calibrum and Infernum even too. You can hit those minions from a long distance away. It's going to be okay, even though Ballista is pretty aggressive in her own right.
I'm still not sold on it, man. I'm an ADC main. I don't like that we're on an island. I feel like, top lane needs to be on the island now. I don't know. ADC has been too far in the dumps for too long. No, I'm just joking. It is nice to see the kind of variations we see in bot lane. I just love the different strategies you can, the focuses you see. And for this game, it's been a little bit all over the place, right? Like, we've seen the skirmishing. We haven't necessarily seen that huge snowball advantage that Immortals Academy was looking for.
Just playing into what 100 Thieves want. They have this Ornn. As soon as it hits the late game and those Ornn items come in, you just get that artificial gold lead that benefits every Ornn team. Since the beginning of Ornn's lifetime, he's just been the best scaling tank in the entire game. So 100 Thieves picking this champion for a reason and playing it a little slow.
It is a little bit different, but it is working out, and they feel good at this moment, right? Like, you haven't given up those multiple kills. You haven't given up that exponential lead in one of these individual lanes that Immortals Academy is looking for, and I think that it buys to their favor here. And now we're getting the focus on bot lane by Kenvi. He has the Rift Herald available. Anda is also on the way down, so we're setting up for a potential skirmish here. To turn into a 3v3, there's really nothing to be said from the mid or top unless we get a TP coming down from Pretty or Ryoma. But here we go. Anda is joining the fight. The chakrams are there. It's red and white. You don't want to fight if you're Immortals Academy, but they fight anyways. And Luger finds his first kill of the game, evening up the scoreline. Now Rift Herald's in. They're snowballing this. The shockwave on top of it all. And Joey, no, he's not going to go down. He gets out by just a smidge. Gold separated across 100 Thieves from that Rift Herald charge, but 100 Thieves respond in kind to Immortals Academy.
Pretty gonna be regretting the teleport placement just in the face of Leona and Olaf. That is not where you want to be if you're Syndra. Learns the hard way. All the crowd control and damage pouring on down. It's gonna mean another dragon for 100 Thieves, another, well, the first kill they've been able to get. We're going to get a replay of this one, too. Anda not in vision for the beginning of this play, but Poom scouts him out wonderfully. They know of his presence. They don't know when he's coming in, but they do know that the teleport is down. And look at this. It's way past where Leona even is. He's in no man's land.
Oh, man.
He's flashed on and dunked.
Yeah, Poom is just too quick with the decisions there, and Anda just not able to get around. Then this follows up with a beautiful shockwave from Ryoma. Yes, the cask comes out and saves Joey's life there, but it's a lot given over, at least in a position that you necessarily don't want to be in for Immortals Academy.
Yeah, it feels like Pretty kind of was the dad at a carnival volunteering to go into the dunk tank. And boom, turns out he is the star pitcher of the local baseball team. He hits it right away. No chance for Pretty to survive that one. Instantly into the drip. And has to worry about
Ooh, look at top lane.
What's gonna happen to him now? He doesn't have flash.
Oh no, Viper's in a 1v2. He's looking like he's gonna go down. Ragnarok is popped and Kenvi picks up his first kill. Unfortunate for the Immortals Academy top laner, but 100 Thieves are able to steal that one away.
With the double AD top side right now, Tenacity's able to start with a tech item of the Frozen Heart. Very creative into this lethality stacking Jace. The damage from Jace is just not going to hurt Tenacity anymore for the rest of the game. It feels like it's so much armor packed into one item. 2v2's great.
Ooh, Joey. Oh, misses the cast. Ryoma! You're too sick! You just broke Joey's ankles live on stream.
Joey, no flash. It's really hard to connect with that kill, but apparently it's even harder when Ryo is the star of Happy Feet. Little penguin toes dodging out on everything. Well done by Ryoma. And stays alive in the lane with his own flash too. Unlike Pretty, there is that flash advantage in mid lane, and Kenvi on Olaf. Once that Ragnarok comes up again, Pretty is gonna need to be very careful. Or maybe
Shockwave. Maybe he's
Olaf
not.
arrives.
Power Unleashed comes out. Does about half health. Ryoma! He misses it barely. Takes a tower shot on the back end of it. Pretty gives him a little thumbs up. Oh, Ando with the flash. Wind becomes lightning, and the Crescent Guard to finish him off.
Okay, pretty greedy from Ryoma, trying to flash and get a solo bolo on Pretty. Not the best look, I would say, from old Tommy there. And cleaning that one up. It's 2 for 2 now. And junglers become mid laners as soon as the things like that happen. You just come and clear out the wave for yourself.
And Viper going again in the top side. Just trying to continue to maintain some strength up there. He had been doing really well at keeping the pressure up, but unfortunately now that Kenvi is kind of running around the map with a little bit more confidence than I'd say in the first 10 minutes, it's a little bit harder for Viper here, and he needs to be careful of that positioning on the side lane. But now we're getting the positioning down bot. We're getting Ragnarok pop from Kenvi. TP's coming in now as well from Tenacity. The 1v1 is going to turn into shenanigans. Cast goes wide yet again, and it goes down to the shutdown for Tenacity. Now Fate's Call is out. Puma's knocked up. Ryoma is out by himself, but so is Viper. Viper's down. 100 Thieves are just taking everything. What is happening? It's 5-2 in favor of the Thieves.
Ow, all of this crowd control used onto the front line of 100 Thieves means that Luger is completely free to keep auto-attacking to his heart's delight. Finds a kill onto Keith, and everyone else for 100 Thieves able to survive off of that too. And it was really close to finding another kill, but you can't scrap with all the members of 100 Thieves. They're so strong at this stage of the game. They already have a couple of mythics online, Kenvi and Luger with this. Let's watch this again. I want you to see what actually happens with the crowd control that could have potentially been used on Luger, but instead goes into Poom.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like, that moment. I was like, okay, you go for the full stun so that, you know, maybe Viper or things along those lines. Like, Viper right here is all by himself, so maybe you're going to stop that, but it's unfortunate because Luger is able to just clean up on the backside of it.
You saw that the Fate's Call from Callista. Keith is like, okay, I'm attacking Luger, we can kill Luger, and Joey's like, ooh, Leona. I'm gonna jump on the Leona.
You give supports the power of Fate's Call, and sometimes things happen.
Yeah. It's tough, you know? You're using one ult with 2 people.
Oh, Viper is gonna flash out of that one. It reminds me of the Tom Kench Devour back before it was his ultimate. Like, ADC's just immediately, at least me, just immediately clicking to get dropped out. And I'm just like, oh man, don't give me that power. Don't take that away from me.
And the coordination not there for the Immortals Academy bot lane. See if it continues or if they can get that together. Hopefully some counseling comes in between these games.
There's some good movement from Immortals Academy, but 100 Thieves are here to respond. Big or an ulti, and Anda is just caught out. Poom is looking like a carry right now, but Keith is here. Can he get the Rin stacks off? No, he just can't. Again, 100 Thieves just run away with literally everything, Smacks.
And you can see that for 100 Thieves, they have just all of this crowd control. They're just pumping into every member of Immortals, and nobody has any tenacity. Nobody has the Mercury Treads or the runes seemingly either. They're stunned forever, and can't even cast his ultimate in this exchange just because Boom is here, locking him down. Tenacity with the knockups. There's nothing he can even do. Locked down the entire time.
Wait.
Oh!
Ryoba just gets 1v1 to the side lane. There's the Viper we know and love.
That's one piece of good news for Immortals. The crowd control's still there, and there is a third dragon for
That's
100
so
Thieves
point.
Academy. Yeah, that's Soul Point already 17 minutes in, but I wonder what just happened to Ryoma.
I do. I hope we get a replay of that because I just want to see how it is. It looked like he was over pushing a little bit, maybe not expecting Viper to be there. But this is huge for Immortals Academy because now Viper gets the tower in top lane. A little bit of pressure relief for the Immortals.
Thieves, they've been winning out on all these skirmishes, but they haven't really taken any structures quite yet. So that gold lead isn't as big as you'd expect for a 5-kill lead. Immortals clean that one up for themselves just a little bit. So does Viper.
No.
He doesn't have flash or anything. Yeah,
Nope.
he just...
It's Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that's, that happens sometimes. You're going up at the top side of the map. My goodness.
Yeah, Ryoma was trying to ward the bush and instantly gets jump scared. You can see now he has blue trinket. He's not making that mistake again. I just never go near a bush again. I understand. Thank you for the lesson, Viper. I have learned it.
He's taking you to school, and he's not even there in person. It's some remote learning here for Smacks on the Academy playoffs.
That's good.
We do see another objective started up by 100 Thieves. Yes, they've been able to get all the dragons. They've also been able to get the Rift Heralds at this point. They are starting it up under vision here, but there's no real response from Immortals unless they want to get a cross-map play.
I like this vision play from Ryoma. Just dropping the bush in the pixel brush, or the ball in the pixel brush.
Oh my god! That was
Okay,
one
you see
shot!
what I'm saying?
That was
You
one
see what
attack!
This is the lethality build, Lennon. This is what I'm talking about. That did 400 damage. You go Collector, you max your lethality second, and yeah, you can see that's what he's doing. He's got 5 points in lethality. That's an extra 23 lethality, I think, from just the passive alone.
Ooh, Viper, meanwhile, gets himself a second tower, so the destructor of Team Immortals here for the Academy squad. Gotta love it. Viper able to get these side lanes under wraps, at least for the most part. Ooh. Oh, Joey with the flash? Oh my god, is this the turnaround? Fate's call is there. Oh, he does go out, but it's a little bit late. Now Anda has to use the Crescent Guard. They do pull away one kill on a boom, maybe a second. Luger gets his shield, but Pop dodges out of the accelerated shock blast. Can he survive? Is he gonna pull it off? No, Viper comes and cleans house. That's a shutdown for the top laner of Immortals Academy.
Another huge trade of kills. Tenacity can't make it to this fight. He has to just sit here and play sentry so they don't lose any more. And Immortals, they continue their stretch of just taking all these turrets and equalizing that gold lead. Again, 100 Thieves haven't translated any of their lead into those structures quite yet. They've been trying to just stretch it out and go for more skirmishes, but this time they're caught by surprise.
They are, Anda on the backside of it. Poom and, can't be right there, but Pretty comes at the best possible moment with a Scatter the Weak.
And Joey's re-engaged too.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Body slam flash and the cast. They finally figured it out with the Fate's Call as well. Joey and Keith, they had their communication. They took a sigh of relief, a deep breath, maybe some meditating with each other. And it leads to plays like this where they can return and find some favorable skirmishes against 100 Thieves despite the snowball.
And this is what I like to see from Immortals. Don't back down. Don't let this teamfight composition start to get the better hold of the map. You still have the skirmishing strength. You still have the catch-out potential. They just need to adapt to that playstyle and start utilizing those tools.
Thieves in that replay did take the bot lane turret. Equalize that just a little bit more, and there's going to be a Rift Herald pop here. Immortals Academy sent a lot of members up top, so this very well could just equalize the turret lead too, and make so the entire map is completely wide open, no outer turrets at all. 100 Thieves, that's really good news for them, because they still have these 3 Drakes. Another charge means that mid lane second tier turret is going to be even easier to take down. And with that Drake coming up, you can see it on your mini-map there. Thieves threatening this one. They want to get in position.
And one thing I want to set up here is we've seen the strengths from both sides, right? In that last fight where Immortals were able to finally get something back under the towers of 100 Thieves, no doubt, it was them catching 100 Thieves not set up. It is so frightening to go into this 5-on-5 matchup. We've talked about it relentlessly. This team fight is insane. There's so much that you have to watch out for. But Immortals are able to pick it apart slowly and surely, and if they can continue to do so, that's how they get into these fights. But it's got to be really scary when you're already facing down a Mountain Soul here, Smacks, And Immortals Academy know that. They are in position for it, but they've got to be careful because Poom is going right in. There's the damage done, and Pretty's already down. 100 Thieves are streaming. Beautiful knock-up from Tenacity, and Keith can only watch as his team is eviscerated.
Poom and Tenacity completely stop the
Keith!
show,
No!
and Keith can't make it out either. Kenvi not even needed in the Drake take. 4 for 0 Drakes, 4 for 0 fight too. Oh, it's those team fights that we were looking forward to seeing for 100. They're turning their sights straight to Baron as well. Why not? They've already killed everyone. What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly, and the thing there is Immortals are forced into that fight. You give a Mountain Soul over to 100 Thieves, it is so much harder to take these 5v5s. But now we're at a point where 100 Thieves can force the map. They are strong enough to force team fights over Immortals Academy that cannot take 5v5s. You have to find the pickouts, but if they're turtled up like a nice little tortoise, you can't do anything about it.
Immortals Academy, they can't take the 5v5, they can't take any dragons, they can't take any objectives to speak of at all, and it's all because of Poom's lethality on Leona. Immediately, Pretty can't do a single thing, his ultimate's still up this entire time, and then Tenacity. Oh, that's like hitting 3 strikes in a row in bowling right there. All of the pins, you see the little turkey fly across your bowling alley screen. Turkey!
Oh man, that feels good. You know he was popping off in that, but guys, like just yelling at the top of his lungs. But my goodness, what a squad 100 Thieves is in those decisive moments. But now we gotta see how Immortals Academy can stay in this game. As you were mentioning earlier, 100% of the objectives, the neutral objectives rather, have gone over to 100 Thieves. That puts you in a huge hole. You're down about 4,000 gold. But there are still moments. That confidence can be 100 Thieves' weakness. We'll see if they can exploit it.
100 Thieves, they've gotten all of these objectives even after Anda solo killed their jungler. Kenvi started this game dead. No buffs to speak of, no camps to speak of. He's been invaded and murdered by Anda, the defending Proving Grounds champion jungler, but has not stopped them at all from just collecting every single buff imaginable on the map. All of the dragons in a row, they've got the soul. And the resistances are just so good. On everyone, not to mention Ornn, who just has a million of each of them no matter what. He's going to have effectively Mountain Soul on his person at all times, but now he has 2 of them.
A little bit of decisions coming down to the wire there for Immortals. They did have Poom caught out, but not 100% confident on moving forward. I do want to point out, Viper was sent bot lane. He almost got the inhib tower. So they were trying to trade because of the Baron buff. And honestly, I feel like that's pretty worth it, being able to get some super minions down another lane. But Tenacity, backed at the perfect moment, was able to stop that and push him off of it. So now you still have the Baron minions that you have to deal with in your base. You also have Tenacity split pushing the side lane.
Creative calls could be worth it and could be working for Viper if they weren't so far behind in that objective department, but 100 Thieves still flexing their muscles. They've got these Horn item upgrades already too. They have even more that Tenacity could possibly give. There's one.
There it is.
It's going to be an upgraded Gore Drinker. Oh no, it's an upgraded Ludens.
Yeah, get the Ludens going. I mean, he's been popping off on the Oriana, especially those shockwaves are pretty much fight changers in these moments. We're talking about the AoE setup and everything along those lines, and Ryoma's shockwaves have been on point. And now, like, you're getting the resets from 100 Thieves. They're just going to come right back onto the map. You've got Immortals pushed into their base. Right now, I do think it's important for Immortals to get out and try to farm up as much as the jungler as you see Anda is doing right now. But I think it's very interesting to see how quickly 100 Thieves get back into the jungle, see where they catch out the Immortals squad, because when you're separated like this and you're at a deficit, it gets a little bit scary, but you've got a decent amount of members for Immortals around this mid lane.
Fortunately for Anda, he's mostly just clearing out wards rather than camps. His 100 Thieves ate all of those for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thieves have a
They're committing to the top side here.
Advantage.
This is a little bit worrisome. They need to be careful.
Has 5,000 health. I don't think this works ever.
And they're like in your base.
Yeah. This is not a play that is favored for Immortals. You will lose everything and not gain a single kill. Or even with the Anathema's chains. Doesn't even need to build any magic resistance. He just pops that onto Pretty and full armor from then on out. He's continuing that trend. I think that's going to be a Warmog's armor. Just full HP on this titan of a top laner.
And we were talking earlier about, 100 Thieves need to be set up with the 5-man setup. It doesn't matter because, actually, Anda gonna get out with the Crescent Guard. Nicely done. He has to burn his flash to get away, but now 100 Thieves smell blood in the water, and they want to go for this inhib tower. They've got bot lane pushing as well. 100 Thieves, no Baron buff, still looking to press their advantages, and I love that. I think you keep the pedal to the metal here for 100 Thieves. Do not let Immortals get any skirmishes, any pickouts, anything along those lines.
Keith just attacked Tenacity 7 times and only broke his mountain shield, and now it's back. So he has to do it 7 more times. There's one. Yeah, you can't do anything. This Ornn is just built to take as many Callista Spears as Keith has. And that number is infinite. And I don't think Tenacity would die to an infinite number of spears. I think he just health resets it all back up. This Ornn is brutal. In 100 Thieves, it feels like it's only a matter of time. As long as things go their way and they don't lose out on any major objectives, then they will be able to snowball this out. But for Immortals, there's always that ticket to success. Elder Dragon, that's spawning in about 10 seconds. Miracle Steel has won games in the past.
It absolutely has, and we'll see. It's coming online here in 5 seconds. 100 Thieves, we already talked about their team fight. If they get set up around this, it's going to be so hard to find an in for Immortals unless they can get a steal. Anda is a wonderful jungler, and he can find those steals, but it's going to be one of these moments. And yes, it's only game 1 of a best of 5. You want to start out on the right foot. Ryoma is going to mid lane, now going to be responded to by Viper. But this isn't a 4v4 against the team fight composition that you necessarily don't want to take. Look, Poom's over the wall yet again. Big Ornhorn, and Poom's on to Keith. Keith's just going to go down, and 100 Thieves are going to take Anda out next. You've got Pretty tired to take down Poom in a 1v1, but Poom's able to keep him locked down, and Tenacity's gonna come help him out. Eventually, the support / tank will take down the carry in Pretty, but it's gonna take a while. You've got the cleanse popped as well from Tenacity. You gotta appreciate it, but the Dragon, the Elder, is going to 100 Thieves, and it is so unfortunate for Immortals as it's 100 Thieves who are looking to take game 1.
When your Syndra loses the 1v1 to Leona at level 12, you know that it's time for game 2, Mazel. You know that Immortals are just a little bit down bad as the rest of this game is going all things 100 Thieves. They can even go for this Baron. They had that teleport in from Ryoma. Love that he was just stationed in mid lane, taking those structures and threatening to end the game if Immortals did anything to leave that base. Just forcing Viper to not be a part of the fight because he's the big Fed member on the squad. He's the one who's finding all the damage with the poke build that he's got, but if he's not even in the fight, then how are Immortals going to do anything?
It's a really good question to ask. Got Elder Dragon, Elder Soul Poom going in. He wants to get the kills for himself, but he's got backup from the rest of his team, and it's Luger who gets the snipe with the Dragon. And now we will see 100 Thieves go into the base of Immortals Academy. They want this inhib.
You know, truly for Immortals, they actually did set their waves up very well. You can see that all 3 of them are pushing right now, but I'm just not convinced that it matters. Kenvi is so tanky. You can take up those turrets, not really even needing the minions. And even saying that Tenacity's bringing the wave up, this might just be the end.
That could be. You got Baron minions up. You got a decent wave here, and look at the tankiness that is on 100 Thieves Academy. Immortals tried to go for the skirmish, but they couldn't get it early, and 100 Thieves played to their win conditions here. Big shockwave from Ryoma is going to seal the deal, and 100 Thieves are going to take game number 1 in style, Smacks. 21-6, over a 10,000 gold lead, and that's how you start off a playoff best of 5.
The team fight composition masterfully crafted by Coach Golden Glue and 100 Thieves Academy members put it to great use. Amazing display of what that draft can accomplish, and against the team that is one of the best at skirmishes in general around that top side. Just very well done by 100 Thieves Academy, and very well done by Kenvi, the resilience to stay alive, stay on top of things, and taking all of those objectives.
That's what I wanted to talk about, man. Like, you had, like, we set it out in the draft, right? The skirmish potential from Immortals. They got to find the snowball. They got to get rolling. They did. They found that first kill, which so badly put can be behind on the Olaf, right? You never want that to happen as the Olaf. You're this hard farmer, but he was able to get right back into it and get influence in the lanes where I didn't feel like Anda necessarily had the biggest influence in the lanes. He was looking for those individual plays for himself, and maybe that's where things kind of disconnected, and 100 Thieves were able to capitalize on that because you had the catch out in top lane where Kimby went in and gave some attention to Viper. That set up Tenacity beautifully, and it all fell to pieces, at least for Immortals, and the game plan for 100 Thieves Academy remains so stable and so strong.
Bad news for Immortals. Their signature style and their first try at taking down 100 Thieves Academy completely falls to the wayside. Everything that they attempted just did not stick to the wall. And they've got more games to try at other things, but this is the style that we've seen from Immortals and the style that they've won with most often. So they're going to need to reach really deep and find another way to win a game.
Hey, let's hope for some spice. Let's hope for some nice, as we're going to be sending it away to a little bit of a break. We're going to have the analyst desk on the other side to break down that game number 1. Don't you go anywhere.